Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another interesting panel discussion for the day, which is mainly focusing on the automotive sector. The topic is going to be on CIOs focusing on digital strategy and innovation to enable growth. For which I would like to welcome the panelists for the day, Mr. Manjunath Prasad, Head IT Infrastructure and Operations, TVS and Sons Limited. And welcome, sir. And I would like to welcome V. Ranganathan Iyer, Group Chief Information Officer and the EVP IT, JBM Group. Welcome, sir. And I would like to welcome Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Jain, a Group Chief Information Officer for Krishna Maruti Group. Welcome, sir. And I would like to welcome Mr. Sharad Agarwal, Group Chief Information Officer, JK Tyson Industries. And also, I would like to welcome the moderator for the panel, Mr. Asif Ali, Senior Executive Integrated Marketing Group, Elets Technomedia. So over to you, Asif.
Thank you, Nishant, for a warm welcome and a brief introduction about the panel. So, first of all, as we all know, like this panel is related to all automobile industry, and we have got very good eminent speakers and renowned names from the industry, like Mr. Manjunath Prasad, Mr. V. Ranganathan Iyer, Sanjeev Kumar Jain, Sharad Agarwal. So, first of all, thank you for your valuable time, sparing your time and coming for this panel. We really look forward to a very insightful session, and let's move ahead with the questions accordingly. So, as we all know, this time, like at this era, which is like this post-COVID era, where like you can say during the COVID or post-COVID era time, which was like related to uh, shift towards the digital transformation, or you can say a very vast, or you can say a very quick uh, wave towards shifting towards digital transformation. So, as CIOs or like the tech heads or the tech decision makers from the industry, uh, CIOs are focusing on digital strategy and innovation for enabling growth. And in the automotive industry, it is undergoing like a massive digital transformation. So, what are the key trends and the way forward you guys look upon into? So, I would quickly take this question and hand over the mic to Mr. Sanjeev. If you can, give your views on the same. Over to you, Mr. Sanjeev.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody, and happy to be part of the panel. As you rightly said, that the digital things have really moved up into the automobile industry in the past 18 months or so. We talk about automotive industry was always doing digital initiatives for quite long, but after this pandemic has really hit us, the digital roadmap has been really preponed on for implementation in all the ways into the things if we talk about. If I talk about my Krishna Group organization, we were having a lot of digital initiatives planned for the next 2, 3 years in the pipeline. But when the pandemic hit us and there was a restriction of manpower to be moved into the plants, we really started looking into how we can take this digital initiative into a fast way and see the benefit of these particular parties being achieved. What we did basically was that we wanted the operational side of the things to be automated on a immediate basis sort of thing in the organization. We started marrying the operational technology and the information technology, brought them together because they were working in silos previously. And then we started reaping the benefits of the automation which was there onto the operations side. So a lot of digital initiatives or automations you can call has been put into place. So we have implemented the operational dashboards. We have integrated our robots with the commercial ERPs. We are looking into the real-time data capturing. We are working on the OEs and rejection analysis of the machines. We are working on the smart meter data capturing online so that the person who was involved into noting down the readings of the smart meters, we have something around 150 smart meters connected to the automation on different machines. So that all those things have been automated into the systems now, and we are able to do everything online. We are also working on converting all the manual processes which were there in the organization into a digital form so that all data which is there, whatever workflows we were talking about, that any approval system which was there manually now has been converted into a digital form so that the people does not have to transfer paper from one desk to other and they have to follow the thing because During the pandemic time, a lot of people were working from home, and it was not possible for them to sign the papers which previously was being done. So these are some digital initiatives which we are talking about, and going forward, we are looking for more and more automation, integration, rather, I should say, of my machines with my ERPs per se, and see how we can do predictive maintenance into the system, how we are able to forecast the quality issues. We are working on vision-based quality inspections. We are working on complete automation of the operations from the backward traceability of the material. So these are some new things, I think, so which are there in the pipeline going forward, and these things will be taken up over a period of time. Over to you, Asif.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sanjeev. It was really insightful views. Like, actually, things are changing. So accordingly, we have to shift towards according to the demand driving and be agility while working towards the future and accepting the trend change or like any shift which is coming up in between. So I would again quickly like to take the views from Mr. Manjunath Prasad. Like, what are your views, like, the key trends, the way forward towards this digital transformation shift which is going under this automobile industry?
Thanks, Asif. And as rightly told by Mr. Sanjeev, there's a lot of technology shift that's happening in the automobile world. While Mr. Sanjeev talked about the manufacturing area, what we are focusing is more on the front-end customer experience area, where we had in the automobile industry, it was always used to that we had the customer connect in front of us. Whereas in this pandemic, we had to change that experience. We had to move towards the digital experience. So today, with a lot of our digital experience, digital applications and all, we are trying to serve the customer in a at his doorstep, virtually and sometimes physically at his doorstep. So that's where the technology push has happened from the within the offices or within the outlet, within the garage to his doorstep. That is one way. And the second thing is with the sources of data. Now the data is everywhere. So there's a lot of connectivity that is happening, dependence on the data that is happening to give a meaningful analysis of the trend in the service industry. So that is also we are concentrating on that. So these all the data shift towards a global world is helping us to move towards the technology adoptions very fast. And definitely the cloud is another big factor that has pushed the digital growth enormously. That's my input on that.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Manjunath, for your views. I believe that the digital infrastructure change is basically the demand which we can see as of now, which is like
True.
acting upon to the customer experience going ahead. Exactly. So
Yeah.
again, I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Sharad Agarwal. If you can give your point of view on the same, like any key trends or the way forward, like in the automotive industry's digital transformation is going under already taking place as of now. Over to you, Mr.
Yeah,
Sharad Agarwal.
thank you. So first of all, thanks for having me. And both of my learned colleagues have already covered most of the things that are currently happening from that perspective. I would like to sort of put my views forward from a business perspective and the, I would say, environmental perspective. From business perspective, as we know, the move is towards electrification, having driverless cars. So these are two major things which would be impacting the overall ecosystem. And if we have a look back, then we all faced. We know that chip shortage was a major blocker for the industry. So the automobile industry per se found out ways how to produce more vehicles using lesser chips. So that was so invention is, is the necessity is the mother of invention. So whenever a different things come in, people react, adapt, and keep going. And importantly, the ways of selling are changing. So we have been seeing that the concept of selling a car without going to showroom, especially for any other auto car or any other automobile, was a distant dream. But it has materialized, and some of the companies, not some of the companies, rather just one of the companies, has even started toying the idea of selling vehicles through using cryptocurrencies also. So these are all different business trends that are coming into play. And with the changing overall environmental and the social landscape of the world, so we'll keep on getting new challenges, we'll keep on getting new needs, and technology will be always there to adapt, to react, and in some of the cases proactively weed them out. That's my view. Thank you.
Thanks for your view, Mr. Sharad. I would again quickly hand over the mic to uh, Ranganathan. Over to you, Mr. Ranganathan. Your views on the same, like what are the key trends or the takeaways for the audience which are listening right now?
Yeah, namaste. Thanks for the opportunity. Although many have been covered, some of the important factors. Number one is because of pandemic, we learned how to work from home. But some of the areas like the core engineering, we were really struggling. That is where we started having a work from home concept for engineering people also, so that they are in a position to work from anywhere, despite having heavy files which is being used in the workstation kind of environment. Number two, the collaboration. Yes, a basic collaboration we have learned. We have started thinking on how we have to collaborate, use different tools available across landscape, how to make it more meaningful, so that for future, whether it is required or not, we do not know. Pandemic, probably it is over, fourth wave is not going to come, but still we have 50 plants across. So by using the collaboration tool in some different way, how we can bring in employee efficiency. And the third factor is we have tested the success of connecting machines by having a separate independent team of AI experts which we have recruited, which has really given the business people the right perspective to think different in the manufacturing lines. That is one of the key success area where we started selling the product which we have developed for in-house consumption to outside also. So these are all the three trends. Post pandemic, we are trying to take it to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranganathan, for your views. So that's what we can see. Like the digital infrastructure is changing, and according to due to the need or the demand of the time, we are moving towards the digital infrastructure shift. But I'm sure there are shift which is taking place towards the customer engagement part also. So if we can move ahead, understanding it or digging dive into it, so we can go in the automotive industry, we are reinventing the customer engagement with the help of technology. So how you guys are shaping up into towards the customer engagement for the same. So I would love to hear from Mr. Manjunath. Over to you, Mr. Manjunath.
Yeah, from the customer experience perspective, we are doing a lot of things. Like earlier, as I told earlier, previously we used to have the physical interaction with the customer, but now with the pandemic, we are forced to have the virtual connectivity with the customer. And now, and not only that, in that area, what we are doing is the customer experience is totally changing now. Where we are trying to, if they have bought a vehicle and they are left this vehicle for service, we are able to give them the proactive update of what stage of the service it is their vehicle is passing through, so that they get a live visibility of their vehicle service status. That is one. And not only after the service, post the service also, with all these IoT sensors and all coming in place, what he can get the proactive health update of his engine, what is the life cycle of his battery, how is the engine performing, is it on the right track or not, when is it due for the next service cycle. So these are the kind of proactive updates that is helping the customer know about his vehicle better, which was not there earlier. Earlier it used to be that only when he comes to the garage, he'll be able to know, okay, these all things have failed, this is what is going to happen. But now with the help of technology, he's able to get it proactively, and he can plan his schedule better for a visit to the garage to get his vehicle service. And also he can know at what time he can get in and get it out and all. He can plan it out very well. So the customer has been in a central stage to see that he is pampered and is given all the information what is required to take the appropriate decision at the right time, rather than waiting till the failure. So that way, the vehicle performance is also good, the customer experience is also good, and the industry moves forward. The economy is also growing. That's how we are looking at it at the customer experience part.
Thank you, Mr. Manjunath, for your views. I would like to listen from Mr. Sharad. What are your views? How digital, technology is reinventing the customer engagement in the new model.
So, Asif, that's a very pertinent question. So, look, we always have been knowing that customer experience or customer is the king. Number one, number two, customer experience is what lets us acquire and retain a customer, so that we get repeat sales and so honestly speaking, our salaries come from on account of customer only. So customer had been always at center, but digital is transforming the way. So now we all are trying to make all the things available to the customer so that he or she gets a better experience digitally. It means if you look, we can buy, we can rent, we can sort of get service, we can get complaints, everything tracked through any of the, be it through social media, through a normal call center. So all of the things are getting connected. So this omni channel, though it was there always, but is becoming central for better customer experience, and things are getting easier in the sense, though applications etc would have been there earlier, but based on the person of the person who is interacting. So the applications, the interaction mediums are becoming intuitive with minimum of the information, so that you don't have to spend an hour to get your details, your complaint, your issues forward to the other end. So that's one area. Minimalistic approach with maximum returns, and customer experience digitally is taking the center stage for every organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharad, for your views. The same question, I would like to hear from Mr. Sanjeev. What are your views? In this, new model or reinventing the technology part. What are your views? How automotive industry is keeping ahead, the customer engagement part.
We are basically in a B2B company where we are dealing directly only with the OEMs for our products. The customer experience terms, if I talk about, we have two types of customers. If I talk about, I have internal customers, I have the external customers of B2B. The demands of the B2B customers is now to get everything online. They are looking for, since the physical meetings have been stopped, they are looking for everything to come online into that particular point, because the model changes are changing so fast, which was not there previously, because the customer demands are changing based on the chip availability in the market. What particular model is moving fast and what particular model is not available in the market. So the demands are changing, and based on that particular demands, we have to change our vendor demands things also. So what we did, that in order to meet all the requirements of the customer, we have implemented the SCM side. We have automated the complete SCM side, where the schedules are released onto to the vendors online. They were able to get the barcode detail and everything get plugged into the system. So such type of things have been taken now. If we talk about the internal customers are now again asking for everything to be automated, which was previously not things. The expectations from the internal customers is increasing day by day, because they have to meet the needs of the external customer for us, and they want an agility into the system. So those things are there. I think we are started moving from the in-premise data center sort of a concept to the cloud adoption of the things, so that we are able to give much flexibility to the people to use the system anytime, anywhere. Because once we were, since automobile industries used to be a traditional businesses where mostly the data was residing in premise, because we have a lot of IPS lying with us, and we were not open to the world so much, so that the IPS doesn't move out of the organization, because there are certain models which are there with us. The information is there with us, which is not there in the market, which are going to be there in market after 4 years or 5 years, and we have to see. that information doesn't get leaked out. So I think so. We are everybody, as my peers talked about, that everybody is working on giving the best experience to the customer, because they are our bread earners, and we really need to see that their demands are being met as per the as fast as possible things, so that the things can be kept in place. This is what all I have to say on this. Over to you, Asif.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev. Thanks for your views. Yep. Basically, it is related to the customer experience is related data-driven strategies and everything. So, yep. I'm handing over the mic to Mr. Ranganathan. Your views on the same, like how you think like this new model or the reinventing of technology in the automobile industry is taking care related to the customer engagement part also.
See, as Mr. Sanjeev said, mostly we are into OEM also, but we are in the OEM space of selling bus. There, the people who are procuring bus, they have provisions to collect the data. So we ensure that the customer who is going to use our bus has got all the facilities, starting from engine data to tire data to electronics, electrical, whatever is there. We have created the right kind of provisioning for anybody to consume the data which is getting collected using the data logger within the bus. So it is end user consumption ready kind of thing we have configured, and then it is being sold. The other portion, as far auto parts manufacturing is concerned, what is we being one of the big players in tier 1, we started collaborating with our customers when they are actually doing the NPD, new product development life cycle process. Only we have embedded ourselves and we try to give all manufacturing related insights when the product is getting developed. The third area is where we are trying to do customer focused is in our solar division. Within 24 hours, for example, tomorrow, what will be the power generation will be there, that we have to provide that detail to our customer before 24 hours. What will be the average power generation, and that cannot go beyond plus or minus 10%. So to make it more meaningful, we started collecting data of different parameters related to weather, and then based on that, using some predictive AI with using third-party solutions, we arrive at what will be the tomorrow's weather conditions, at what time, what will be the power generation. So we have brought in certain technology interventions to do the prediction part, so that we are compliant to what government is asking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranganathan. One thing which is I would again would like to understand is from Mr. Sanjeev, like you were talking about the data-driven part. So, how do you think how the data-driven strategies are helpful in bringing innovation in the industry? Like a little bit more insight if you can give, over to you, Mr. Sanjeev.
So what exactly I was talking about, that previously all data from these machines were working, since automation in automobile industry was always there, but the basic issue which was there, that the IT operations were not married to the commercial operations if in any organization. They were both working as silos differently. A lot of data was being collected from these machines, but no meaningful information was being generated from this data to see how exactly can we do any other thing particular part of it. So the basic point, what we did, that since we were able to uh, integrate these operational machines along with the IT part of it, we were able to do some predictive analysis that how my machine is performing, how is my tool going to is giving some issues related to quality. Should we stop the production immediately, or should we work on it? We were able to calculate which machine as of now is running, which machine is sitting idle, so that we are able to save onto the energy cost of it. We were able to see how much energy is being consumed in a particular machine. If we have same machine, 5 machines of the same model, we wanted to do a comparison analysis that if X machine is consuming 100 watts, why the other machine of the same make and model is consuming 200 watts. So those types of analysis have been started doing into the business. Secondly, we started doing the MIS generation from the ERP. We were previously doing Excel-based or a paper-based MIS, which was there. Now we have worked on to that we have collected the data and we started doing the dashboarding onto it. That how is my financials doing? Because previously everybody was sitting into the office or was able to do the things. Now since everybody, most of the senior people were working from the home, they wanted to do the decision making based on certain real-time data. So that particular time, I think, so for the last the lockdown period was utilized by the IT team to create all those dashboard data, so the people are able to consume that data the way they would like to consume it. So that has really brought up a lot of eye-opening sessions for the people, that people were able to see that what is the power of IT in any organization, and they started consuming the data in the big way. And now the demands are increasing. People are asking for more and more things to put into system, so they are able to really take timely decisions on that particular things, and company can benefit without it. So this is what I feel every organization is working on this. Over to you, As.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev. I believe it's basically related to the data and the analysis of the data and like making decision accordingly. That's what you're taking, right? Like, I would love to hear Mr. Manjunath's views also on the same, like you being an head at infrastructure into operations. Like, what are like how do you think like how the data-driven strategies are helpful in bringing innovation in the industry?
Well, on the data part, since the data is growing enormously across all sources, and earlier it was only one source of data collection, but today the data collection sources have increased tremendously. It's from the machines, it's from the manufacturing area, it's from the vehicles, it's from the internal people, business analytics, feedbacks, all those things. The sources of data has become very more. So today we are using some of the tools to analyze this data and get the meaningful answers out of it, whereas it is useful to us also as the internal stakeholders to utilize the data efficiently, to improve our systems, to improve our mechanisms. That is one. And it is the data has been useful for the customer also to get the live update of what's happening on this data. So as answering to your point, the data is becoming playing a crucial role, which is giving meaningful data analysis for the multiple stakeholders in their own way of what is expected out of them. The issue what we have is the data is so huge today coming from various sources. How do we get the analysis of that is the another headache what we as industry is facing. So we have to deploy some tools to filter out the genuine data out of it and make meaningful analysis of it. So there are a lot of efforts and there are still for a few more improvements required. Definitely the cloud technologies have helped, and with a lot of tools now to analyze the data faster in a real-time basis, it's helping us. But still there's a lot of progress that we need to move in that area. That's what I would like to say.
Thanks, Mr. Manjunath, for your views. Yeah, very well said. The same question, like how the data-driven strategies are helpful for bringing the innovation in the industry. I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Sharad Agarwal, if you can, like, give your views on the same.
So my fellow panelists have already sort of covered a lot of ground. So how data is important, why it is important. Look, now we have sort of online real-time analytics for each and everything, even before going to manufacturing. If I am visiting a website, if I am visiting uh, an e-commerce site, where do I reach at what stage the user is dropping out? Is he or she dropping out because of insufficient unavailable product, or because of difficulty in navigation? So all those data points are available. Similarly, now coming to the manufacturing area, we can deeply and exactly analyze how and why things are happening. So in manufacturing parlance, especially in the maintenance field, so there's a why drill down for everything. People go up to 5 or 6 whys. Why this happened? So why that thing happened? So now that So that was earlier, everything was post-mortem and was to best would have been happening in monthly diagnosis or monthly calls when it was being presented to the plant head or to the section head. But now that's available on the fly. So now course correction with the help of data is very easy. Very easy in the sense that it's not, means I can't change the machine. But if there's a minor tweak that I can do it immediately. And most importantly, if my machine is spitting out a bad product, I can stop it. I can at least save the raw material, electricity, and the labor cost that is going waste. So these were some of the very simple examples, but it's just the beginning. But the opportunities are enormous, and we can do anything with the data. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharad, for your views. Again, the same question to Mr. Ranjanathan. If you can give your views, like how it is, like how like data-driven strategies are like implementing and are helpful in doing the transformation and into the industry.
We are focusing more on manufacturing in the auto component division. If you look into the purpose is more towards eliminating the process because of pandemic. The right kind of people are not available, so we are trying to eliminate the human interventions. For example, the whole process of quality check is eliminated by a camera. We are finding 35 to 40 different kinds of defects being identified by camera by having a green room, so that the data which is identified as a quality problem subsequently consumed during the post-production process. That is number one. Number two, because of the same resource related issues, we wanted to ensure that machine is not going down at all. For that, what we have to, so we started identifying what are all the different parameters when machine was going down. We have registered all those things, and then we are doing some predictions if temperature or oil or some of the consumable which are being used during the production process, if it is going beyond a threshold, we try to find and then inform the person concerned, so that before the machine goes down, the corrective actions, although prediction is not happening, the predictive is not actually happening, it is not predictive, but at least to a larger extent, with the repository of data, we were in a position to identify, because in the last 2 years we learned that whenever a machine goes down for some reasons, at that time what are all the different parameters across machines we identified and then captured it for some 20 to 22 months, and then we are started trying to use the data. These are all the two use cases which is very helpful for us, which is the third important factor is the not visible machine downtime. What is the mentality of the manufacturing is, if the last machine in a line, if it is continuously producing goods, we always feel that the machines are up and running continuously. When we are trying to identify each and individual machine, for example, if the machine is not producing continuously for more than 2 minutes, we consider that as a non-production minutes. We never try to consider less than 2 minutes. So during that process, in a whole of 24 hours, we found that more than 2 minutes, which were not identified earlier as a downtime, we could find somewhere under 20 to 21 minutes in a day, which is also really, when we could save somewhere around 16 to 17 minutes out from that, it is quite a good productivity improvement, or you can say the asset utilization, etc. yes, the data which we were collecting for so many more than 2 years, is we started consuming it right, and then taking some meaningful results over that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranganathan, for your views. Uh, Somewhere down the line, if we see regarding this data part or like the digital transformation which is taking place, as Mr. Sharad was saying, like before even starting the manufacturing, we are like have the data related to all sort of data which we focus, and then we move ahead analysis or like analysis of the same, and then acting upon it accordingly. Apart from that, there are many other factors also, I believe, which might be in between, such as like security issues with the data and all everything. So I know there are like not only this part, there are a lot and lots of things. So would like to understand like from you all, like what are the challenges with the coming with the digital disruption. So I would quickly love to hear from Mr. Manjunath your take on the same. Over to you.
So the challenges that we see is on the consistency of the data is one that we see, and the second thing, the bandwidth is still a bottleneck. Suddenly, the network connectivity gets lost. The bandwidth is another challenge that we foresee, and third thing, now with so many hackings and unethical attempts that happens to access the data, the security is another main challenge what we have. So there are some progress in that. There are some strict protocols and applications to control that, but still there's a lot of progress that has to be done. So these are three challenges which are foreseen now. One is on the data security part, one is on the consistency of the bandwidth or the network availability, and the third thing is the consistency of the device. So even if it has to fail, because that becomes a single source of data point, and if that has to fail, so then we are all lost. The whole chain breaks over there. So these are the areas which we have as of a concern now, and which, but definitely it's not in the as we were there in the 3 years back. We have made a lot of progress in that, and there are a lot of tools today to help us out in that area, and there's still some more improvements happening in that area.
Thank you, Mr. Manjunath, for your views. I would love to hear from Mr. Sajeev, your views on the same. Like, what are the challenges, like this is facing due to the digital disruption which is taking place?
So most of the points what Manjunath has spoken about is also the same with us. Also, that we are also facing issues related to bandwidth and everything. The other point which is coming up is the huge data generation which is happening into the organization. Now, a lot of things were planned to move to the cloud. Now, since the data generation from this, the data which we are collecting from all these machines and all of things is so humongous that you cannot push everything to the cloud. So we are now have to change some strategy into it, that how much data need to be stored into the in-premise, what data needs to be put onto the cloud, so that you are able to do some analysis on that thing, and then you can do that part. For that, again, bandwidth becomes a big challenging factor when you're talking about it. The other part which has come up with this particular challenge is the security. The security is a big issue, because previously everything we were using from in-premise. Today we have opened our system with the work from home being a new norm into the organization. You have to see that how you have to secure the data from these two extremes. That today when you're sitting in office, you have to be giving access to the person, because previously when we were working from the office, we were working on a closed network of MPLS networks where the data was very secure. But the same data now you have to open out, because you cannot stop somebody using the data from home when he is working from home, having some issues to that. So all those things are becoming a big challenge for the IT organization. The cost is increasing for security to be put into place. At the same time, because of the business losses, the cost reduction is a norm in the organization. You have to really cut down on the cost, because the OEM is asking you for a cut down on the cost, because the raw material prices is increasing, the chip shortage is there in the market, manpower cost has increased. The biggest issue with the IT industry is the cost of the IT manpower has increased twofold in the last 1 year or so. The availability of the manpower is a big question mark into the things. So all those challenges are there, and when we have started the digital transformation, the expectations of the end users has increased with the flavor of digitization they have found. They want more and more things to be put into place and want to be done on the yesterday basis, that everything to be given on to the next day. But with the manpower crunch into the market, you are not able to now fulfill all the demands on a way they are looking for it. So all those things, challenges are there, but at the same time, I think so it is the best time for the CIOs and the IT fraternity to enjoy this thing, because now today the IT is in the strategy really place, and they are sitting at the board level to really guide the business, not from the support department. So those challenges are part of your life. Over to you, As.
Thanks, Mr. Sanjeev. Very well said. Like with the challenges come opportunity to tackle them and give new, implementation to the industry so that people can get more easily accessible, or you can say more innovative ways to deal with them. So yeah, again, would like to hear from Mr. Sharad your views on the same. Like what are the challenges you feel like coming up with the digital transfer disruption which is taking place in the industry?
So before talking of challenges, I will echo the same sentiment that Sanjeev ji was echoing. We are really in a sweet spot to be in. So there are so many choices available. So I would like to say that we are blessed to be spoiled for choices. Means we have so many technologies, we have so many platforms. So, but that's a challenge too. Which technology do you put your uh, which technology do you choose, which technology do you take forward to, and the second challenge is the shortened life cycle of the technologies are changing so quickly. One technology comes and in 2 years it's gone. So if I'm putting all the eggs in one basket, how do I cope with that? So these are means, and the third challenge is that you would be any of my fellow panelists or the people who are even not in this discussion, they would be using multiple technologies. So currently, one of the very important missing point is interoperability between various platforms and technologies. That's a very important missing challenging point. And another one, of course, that has always been change management is very is always challenging. And other things Sanjeev ji and the fellow colleagues have very clearly talked out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharad. Very well said. Like it gives you a perspective to go ahead and innovate with the things. But yeah, there are things like when we use a lot and lots of data, lots and lots of technologies, there will come challenges, because without challenges there is like no moving ahead and forward, like moving forward. So again, this question to Mr. Ranganathan, what's your like views, like what are your key takeaways, like you would like to uh, give to the audience, like what are the challenges uh, due to digital disruption industry is facing as of now? Mr. Ranganathan, you're on mute.
Sorry for that. I was in mute. Our fellow panelists have clearly mentioned all relevant, important things. The biggest problem is end users, they do not understand the difference between different solutions. The automation is there, integration is there, digitization is there, digitalization is there. They are not bothered about. They come with everything all together. That is one of the biggest, although we feel that it is the sweetest part, which has really created more problems. Why? Because in the automobile industry, many are engineers, and because of the cloud adoptions, most of the solutions which we are also suggesting is cloud-based third-party solutions, which is consume as and when you wanted. This has really created shadow IT within business. because of various other interventions like security and all, they are coming to us. Or if you need some connectivity or the management, the process of approval, CFT which we have created, because of that we are on the safer zone as of today. I don't know how many shadow ITs have been created if it had not been there. So the most important critical aspect is shadow IT, number one. Number two, which is going to create more problem for the management because of compliance related issues. That's number two. And it is not possible for anybody to take up so much of a load in less time. If you are having a team of, for example, 30-member team, how much load you can take? In today's scenario, we have more than 100 manpower can do the work. So it is very difficult for anybody to take such a big requirement getting addressed in less than 12 months of time. This is one of the very important factor, because we have 5 different business units, and the different business verticals has got their own set of requirements. But fortunately, because of our CFT approach, we are in a position to control it. I will not say we are controlling it best, but in a better way we are controlling. This is one of the biggest issues which we all face. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranganathan, for your views. Moving ahead, I believe right now we are into a panel which is live, and there might be the audiences who are into basically, entering into the market or else already existing, and we already you guys are already a very eminent name into the industry. So I believe there will be many people, or you can say many audiences who would love to take some suggestions from your end, or those who are entering into the market or already existing into the market, but look upon to you all. So I would request Mr. Manjunathan to give your suggestion, or you can say your input to them, regarding if they are entering into the market, what are key takeaways, or any key pointers they need to look into it.
Well, my one point view would be that set the business priority, set the business expectation right, so that plan it out well and then get into execution. Because if you directly start into execution, we'll be nowhere. So there are a lot of opportunities in the market. There are a lot of things happening in the market. So you have to select the right business case and the right solution for that. Because every business case has different solutions. So setting the right priority and setting the right solution would be the top priority which he has to concentrate. And then once you start executing it, having a regular check mechanism to see if we are on the right track, so that we are not getting into failures and so that we don't burn our fingers, is what I would suggest as a top priority for the new joiners coming in here.
Thank you, Mr. Manjunath, for your suggestion and inputs. I would hand over the mic to Mr. Sharad, your key takeaways or input or suggestion you would love to give to the audiences for the same. On the if they're entering into the market already existing, and they are going into a digital transformation, or they're looking ahead to expand themselves or move ahead and grow into this industry. Over to you, Mr. Sharad.
Yeah, surely. So I totally agree with Manjuji's advice that don't try to boil the ocean on day one. That's very important. And another piece of advice from our side can be, don't be afraid, don't be skeptic in trying out anything new which has even not been tried by anyone anywhere. So if you get convinced that the proposed solution, and if you have conviction in it, it can be a solution by yourself, by your team, by someone else. If you have a conviction, please don't let it go because it had failed elsewhere or it has not been tried till now. Means don't come with any prejudices. Give it a try, give it your best shot, And success or failure is secondary, but try, never shy away of trying. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharad, for your views on the same. Yep. Again, same question to Mr. Sanjeev. Like, if there are like CIOs and IT heads, or like you can say, uh, tech heads into the industry, any like giveaway takeaways for them to keep track on the same, like, if they're moving ahead or forward in, like, expanding themselves. Over to you, Mr. Sanjeev.
Thank you. So I would simply say that basically people have to really balance out the things. They don't have to really move everything to a single technology. I think so. Hybrid is the way the people should really think about it. Everything cannot be moved to the cloud. You have to look into the roadmap of your organization, how your organization is planning to expand. Are you going to have inorganic growth? Are you going to have organic growth? Then plan out the things. See what all connectivities are available to you when you are setting up the plants into the remote locations. How would the data flow from there? How would the security? How would the manpower availability to you? And then only you plan out the things. Don't take a hasty decisions of worked out by the guys in the market that okay, no, adopt the cloud for everything. It might not be true because once you are doing the things, it might end up that when you are doing a lot of IoT projects or anything related to automation, the data will be generated, humongous data will be generated, and you have to cope up with the data that how much has to move to the cloud or how much has to be kept in house. Don't shy away from discussing with your peers and to the market their experiences and how exactly they have taken care. And accordingly, then you take a decision with the organization. Don't overcommit to the organization. That this everything can be done in 2 days. So this is all my views with that. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev, for your views. Like, generally, I believe the audience must be listening and taking the takeaways from the eminent speakers with us. I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Ranganathan. Your views, like, what would you suggest to the new players or existing player who are like looking upon to you guys and like looking into moving ahead into this industry? Over to you, Mr. Ranganathan.
Yeah, I am going to share my experience. In the last 4 years, we started a new company called Third Eye AI. So having that as a base, I'm trying to uh, uh, build the a case. Number one, try to use open source related products. It will cost you less. Number two, conviction is very much required, as told by Mr. Sharad. And fix up a time. I will try for 3 months, 6 months, 5 months, 4 months. In 4 months, you should achieve that result. If you are not achieving, don't shy away. Drop that project and then try next. It has to be time bound. Otherwise, you will never be in a position to complete any project. Number three, create your own team, internal team. This is by experience I'm telling, because we started with everything by third party and then we constructed an internal team. Now after 4 years we have created around 7-8 products which is being sold outside, other than JBM Group. So create an internal team and what is your strength. So for your weakness, you start up at third party who can help you contributing to your weakness. And the same team will help you when you're horizontally deploying. Don't waste your time on horizontally deploying things from internal team. You should always try to do something new. And when it is coming for replicating to the remaining plants, let third party do that, because it has a cut and paste kind of thing. This is the experience one should use for future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranganathan. I believe like the audience must have enjoyed this panel. I know when knowledgeable and experienced minds sit together, like the time doesn't permit to stop, but we have got very limited slot and time to discuss upon the things. So I hope we have covered basically almost like little bit part of the technology or the disruption which is taking place in this industry as of now. And moving ahead, I would like to, thank all the panel members for your time, effort, for coming to this and making this a great success. And thank you for your valuable views, insight. I believe the audience are enjoying and they're like taking the views or like the experience which you have shared, and uh, they will keep into it and like move ahead and take note of the same. So over to you, Nishant. I believe. Thank you
Sure,
for
Asif.
that.
Yep. Yep. Thank you, Asif. The great moderation. Thank you, panelists. It was a great insights. And
Thank you.
as a token of appreciation, let's would like to present you an award. Um, uh, uh, yeah. So this year we have the certificate. So thank you, Mr. Manjunath Prasad, for joining the session. Head IT Infrastructure Operations, TVS and Sons. And Mr. V. Ranknathan Nair, Group Chief Information Officer, AVPIT. Thank you for joining, sir. Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Jain, Group Chief Information Officer, Krishna Maruti Group. Thank you, sir, for joining and sharing the insights.
Okay.
Mr. Sharad Agarwal, Group Chief Information Officer, JK Tires and Industries. Thank you, sir, for joining. And thank you, Mr. Mohit Gupta, Group Chief Information Security Officer, Madison Group. Thank you, sir, for joining the session. Thank you, panelists, for an interesting discussion.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks all panelists.
Have a very good
Namaste.
day. Bye.